only the famous get to speak up and be heard. What do you think if I tell you? Do you agree? Are you only allowed to be listened to when people know you, as in know you very well? Or better yet, if you are the listener, are you the one who, when some famous person or celebrity starts talking, are you the one that's going to say, "Oh, I need to hear every word because this guy or this girl is so very special"? But how about ordinary people? And say that you would be the person to speak up and you were able to talk about your passion and your life and all the things that you really care about. How would that make you feel? Well, that's something I did with Cheeky Joe not too long ago. This is that camera. It's amazing. Okay. Anyway, Joe,
Yep.
we got together
Hello.
live not too long ago. So
Yes, we did.
and you got to share your what how you started up doing your Jason Begay UK fan page. Well, the J could be for Jason or for Joe. But it was a year ago that you started the page, and
Yep.
as a result, we talked about that we needed to celebrate that. And by that time, you already had like 11,000 followers.
Yep. I did. Yep.
Wow, which is amazing, of course.
Yeah.
So, and then we ended up with um, we ended up, what we did is I did an interview, and I believe you really loved me doing an interview with you, correct?
Yes, I did. It was very, very cool. Very cool. Yes.
Okay. So to start with the first question, you've been live with me before.
Yes, I have.
So so what's the difference between the interview and being live normally? Hello, Anna. Good to see you.
Hello, Anna.
We're talking about whether it's only famous people who get to speak up and be listened to, or that normal people can actually speak up and be listened to as well. Um, so I'm just asking Joe, like, what's the difference for you between the interview and you being normally here as a guest when I'm asking you questions too?
I think it's more like one-on-one proper conversation, like you was asking me about my passion, why I did the page, what I did it for, and it really felt good. I really felt like I was famous. It was just really weird. It felt so good, and I was like, oh my god, I'm really enjoying this. It's like I feel like I'm a celebrity, being asked about my page and all my edits and things, and it was just so nice to have that one-on-one being spoke to, because obviously you watch interviews with celebrities and that, and you think, oh, I wonder what that feels like, and I did actually felt like a celebrity. And it was pretty cool, really cool. I loved it every minute.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So, do you believe I ask you more specific questions than I would do normally?
Yes, yes, you really delved into more questions. Obviously, when you're doing an interview, which I've watched you do with other people as well, and obviously you ask in-depth questions, and it's like, and then when you're put on that spot, and it's like, oh my god, and you have to answer, it's like, oh, it was so intense that I just really, really did enjoy it. It was The questions were amazing as well, like, because it was all about me, my page, and what I do and why I did it, and it was just really, really good. I really
Well,
enjoyed
it's
it.
true. I put you in the spotlight. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
I would think, but maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe Anna knows because she's listening to more of our lives. If it was that different compared to normal, well, normally, of course, I always have something in mind that I want to share. But then again, that wasn't that different with the time I did the interview with you, because I still knew which questions I wanted to ask and what I wanted to get across to the people. I just didn't know your answers, but normally I don't know your answers either. So,
No.
so what do you think made the difference, except for what's going on right now? The camera moving up and down.
Yeah, I know. I could see you go whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So okay, so what did you like best? Which question? Let's start
Um,
somewhere.
like questions like what made you do the page? What
Hmm.
gave you initiation to start? And where did you think it would be in a year's time? Things like that, because obviously I didn't know I was going to still have the page a year later and with
Hmm.
that amount of followers, and it was all questions like that. And it just felt surreal, I
Hmm.
really did feel like I was just put on the spotlight and being interviewed by some famous interviewer, and I just felt so good for like that hour. I just felt like I was like, oh, do you know, I really feel good. I actually feel like somebody. I actually feel like somebody's taking an interest in me for a change. Me, where I've never normally had that, and getting people watching and interacting with us as well is pretty kind of cool because it made you feel like you're special. Like now I know how these celebrities feel when they do these interviews, and knowing that they're asking you personal questions and it's like all just about you and nobody else. And it just felt really good. It really did. I loved it.
So, so here's the thing. We go live more often. Sometimes we do it on here, which basically is StreamYard, which of course
Yeah.
shares its live with Facebook and YouTube. And we do a lot of lives on Instagram. And I know that whenever you go live on Instagram, people start to pop up, and there are lots of conversations. So I don't always, so when you start from your page, I don't always participate, because at some point it's all one Chicago, and I'm like, okay, you know what, bye. I'll just leave. But
Can't
apart
cope.
from that, yeah, it's a bit much, Um, but on the other hand, we have done multiple lives where you actually also get asked questions by me on Instagram when people are listening.
Mm.
So could you say that there's a difference because this time we were celebrating something? I mean, you had an actual um, um, you achieved it. It was about a 1 year anniversary, and not only this, but you also had like 10, now even 11,000 followers. I mean, not
Yeah.
everyone can say that. I think like 2 or 3 months ago, we talked about 7K. That was already a
Yeah.
lot. And of course, a
Mm.
lot of things have changed, um,
Yeah.
especially in the last month. So tell me, is it because we celebrated something, or and
Um.
it because
Yeah. I think obviously because it was like a celebration, obviously a year. And as you said, a few months ago, I was around about 7.5, 8,000 followers. And then obviously someone called Brian Lucci came along, come back, and he started sharing a lot of my posts on these stories. And he put an actual post up of my edit on his actual page. And when he did that, I got like nearly 1,500 followers in 4 days. it was just immensely mad. It was going literally mad. And
Mhm.
like people were just following me, and I was getting more and more likes. And it was just, it was going mad. I was like, what's going on here? And I didn't realise. Then obviously I know it was down to Brian Lucci, because he shared a lot of my stuff, and always praising my page. He always comments a lot of my stuff, and my edits, and that he enjoys, and it just really made me happy that year celebration that I'd reached that amount of people, because I never thought that if someone had told me this last year, I would have gone, nah, no way. I'll be doing all of this, like interviews and talking about my page live. No, that would never happen. I'd never do that, and it's just mad that it's it's happened. It's really weird. And it does make you feel good about yourself. I'd never felt so on top of the world doing that interview, because I did feel like a celebrity. I felt like I was actually Jason himself. Not that I am, but I was like, oh, yeah, I felt kind of good here.
So,
So
so do you
yeah,
think it's because of the acknowledgement that actually we talked about? See, this is you. You've done it for a year. Come hell
yeah,
or high water, you maintained doing it, and it wasn't easy. You got acknowledged
no,
also by Brian Lucci. So,
yeah,
Brian, if you're listening to this, we are still wondering if it's Lutz or Lucci. So, I don't want
yeah.
to say it the wrong way. But anyway, do you think it's because you got acknowledged literally by saying, okay, you've done it you've done this for a year. Don't you think it's time that we do something with you having done this for a year?
Yeah, yeah. I think because of obviously things were happening on my page, which were a nightmare. Then it got closed down. Then it was like, and then obviously people were fighting on my side, saying like, need to get her back. And then when I got back, people were sharing my page, so my likes started going up more again. And I think it's like a community that people share your things, and that's how it gets around, really. It just people by people liking and sharing something, because I've got mine on a professional. I mean, on my when I go on my look on my photos and that, I mean, I have like sometimes like 400 people saving my posts, my edits, you know, and it's like, wow, that many people really like them, and people saving them, and people share them, and and it just sort of expels around. And obviously, because I share the exact same pictures on Facebook with my name on it, which is J Begay UK fan page, obviously people from Facebook obviously realise that it's come from, because I make sure that I make clear that it's come from Instagram. So people obviously follow from there that are on Instagram as well. And, because as I said, I've got just under 10K on the Facebook page of Jason, and I've got just opened up a Chicago PD one 2 months ago, and I've just got over 2,300 now on there, and it's just amazing. And people just share one of the posts I put the other day on Facebook, and it was shared 485 times. So it sort of gets the word around,
Hmm.
and I think that's how people get to sort of acknowledge you more.
Yeah. Well, your edits are amazing. They're getting better with
Thank
each
you.
edit. I think can't improve anymore, and then of course it does. So, so Anna actually asked you a question. She asked if people actually stopped sending you the disgusting messages you received. Did that stop actually, or is that still going on?
It continued about 3 weeks after, but I've not had any for the last 2 weeks now. It's been all quiet, because obviously they've realised that I won't back down. I'm not going to back down. I will carry on fighting because I will not let no one take my page away from me. I will fight to get that back for anything. There's no way I'm going to let them. I did start letting them get to me when it first ended. As you know, when it first started, I was getting, and I was thinking of closing the page down because it really got me so upset, so anxious and everything, and it was horrible. It was really horrible because it was the things that were said, and it's just not nice. But then you told me, look, don't let them win. Don't let them because otherwise they're winning and they know they've won the battle, you know. So you need to keep on going and going. And so many other people were saying it too. You need to keep going. You need to keep going, you know. And obviously that's what I did. And in the end, I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to let you overpower me. I'm going to carry on. So now, if I get inboxes that I don't know, I just delete and block straight away. I don't even read them now. I just get rid of them. I'm like, nope, gone. Bye bye.
Good, good. I'm so happy
So,
you do, because no one deserves that negative energy. No one
no.
deserves it. No
There's
one deserves
so
it
much,
that much.
yeah, there's so much spite out there. It's unreal.
Yeah.
Really is.
So getting back to, I mean, you achieved some milestones, multiple ones, and of course that's what
Yeah.
I've told you, and I'm pretty certain I also said that to you prior to the interview, because, and I don't believe I'm the only one who has actually said, those edits from you, those should be posters, because
No.
that's the way they look like. And I still hope that one day Wolf Entertainment is going to call you and is going to say, "Hey, Chicky Joe, we've seen those edits you do, and we would love to sell them as posters, and you can get this percentage if you keep working for us, or maybe it's the other way around." I have no clue, but you know what I'm referring to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So does it make any difference that it was acknowledged in that interview prior to me doing so as well, but not in an interview?
Oh no, definitely doing the interviews with you boosted up as well a lot because obviously people could see like, oh, quite interesting, and so many do watch it, especially when we're on Instagram as well. As soon as you go live and I join you, people join in and they find it interesting, and I think that gives them a bit of a boost. It's like, oh yeah, I like watching these, because they like watching interviews and stuff. And yeah, since been doing the interviews with you, that has definitely boosted up the page as well, 100%. You and
Okay.
Brian Lucci.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I'm happy to hear it. So, of course, we have the interview like I literally did last time. So what was it again? Last Sunday or last Wednesday? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
you
I
know.
can't remember.
Yes, same here.
I can't remember.
Um, and of course, we have the lives like we're doing right now.
Yeah.
So apparently, there is still a difference for you. There's also a difference in energy. I've noticed. Maybe it's that normally you're more like, okay, I'm going to join, whereas last time, of course, you were the star.
Yeah,
Is that
I
making
felt
a
like it.
difference?
Yeah, I think it probably was. I just felt so good about myself. I was like, oh, I'm really enjoying this. And I didn't want it to stop. It was like, I'm loving this. I'm absolutely loving it. I was like, oh my God, what's going on here? I felt really good. I felt so happy. I was like, now I know how they feel, when they get all these interviews I'm like, oh my God, it's just amazing. Like asking all these questions and it's like, oh God, yeah, it definitely made a difference.
So, what's
Definitely.
the one question I did not ask you and you would like to talk about?
Um. Oh, that's a tough one. Uh.
Or maybe I
maybe
just
something.
did a great job.
Yeah, I think you did. I just maybe
Okay,
like
no, go
what?
on.
Yeah,
I was just having some
maybe
fun.
maybe like a question like, what would you do if Wolf Company did offer me to do edits and so they could be sold, things like that. How would I
Okay,
react?
so say you would get a phone call from Dick Wolf Entertainment saying, "Hey, Joe, we've heard that you are the ones making the edit. Brian Lexy pointed it out to us. So, are you willing to work with us and so we can sell them online? And I don't know if they have like some sort of shop there. I could imagine they would have. Um, what would be your answer?
100% yes. That would be like a dream come true, because not only just to help me, but the fact that people like my edits and people have seen them around the world and like, oh my god, I love these edits. And if I had someone like them to contact me and say, we want to do a franchise and we'd like you to do some edits, and I would literally be over the moon. I would be so happy because it's something that I enjoy doing. I love making my edits. I sit there, I do them, and I'm like, nope, that's no good. I will sit and redo them again. Sometimes it takes me about four attempts, 5 attempts, and then I'm like, yep, that's okay. Yeah. And sometimes I show my friend Marianne, which is my love for Jason Begay. I send them to her and she'd give me a view on them, and you do, and a few other people, and I'm like, oh, what do you think of this? What do you like? Do you think I should change? And it's just nice to get the feedback, you know,
Hmm.
from people. Like like one of the special ones I done of the wings,
Yeah, it's a
Jason with
good
the
one. For
wings with the
those who
lost
don't
loved ones.
know,
Mm,
that's actually showing Jason, of course, in the character of Hank Voight.
mm,
You edited two giant angel wings, and in the
yeah,
angel wings are portrayed four people. So there's his former partner Elvin with his daughter Lexy. There's Anna. For those who haven't seen season 9, just wait for it. And who was the last one? I forgot.
Justin. It
Oh,
was
of course, his son
Justin.
Justin.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
wasn't Alvin's daughter Lexi. It was Lexi, his CI.
Oh, I keep saying, yeah,
Yeah,
because she
it was
was called
Lexi the
Lexi too.
CI and
My
Anna the
bad.
CI.
My bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. Talk
and
about
that's
confusion.
yeah, and that's the one where I had people inboxing me asking me would I make them into a poster and
Yeah.
sell them to them, and I was pretty shocked. I was like, oh my god, that felt like, oh wow, was it really that good? And I did have, because Brian shared it as well, and he inboxed me. He said that is one amazing edit, and he said I've showed the kitten, which obviously means Jason, uh, as his nickname's Kitten. He calls everyone else Kitten, um, and I was so proud of it because at first I was like, hmm, was it a bit like sort of angel wings? People are going to think that he's dead and he's not, but that's why I've put the images of his loved ones in the wings to give it that sort of, so people can realise that he is standing there thinking about the loved ones that he's lost close to him. And I was just so pleased with that edit. It was one of my best edits I've done. I absolutely love it because I'm actually going to get that on a canvas for myself because I
Yeah.
literally love it. Because I've actually
Yeah,
done
that's a good
one
one.
actually of my husband. I've done angel wings with my husband's pictures on as well. So that
That's
I'm
nice.
gonna have.
That's nice.
Mm,
So, of course, the question would be, um, say we were ever to talk to Jason about it live, what would he have to say? But also the producers and the one who are writing it, what would they have to say? Because they created that whole story.
Yeah.
Henk Voigt losing his son, of course, losing his partner, uh, also, of course, losing sort of his daughter, Aaron Lindsay, before, um, which and then later on losing his CI. And so I would be curious to see what they think and how they perceive it. So say they were going, we would have the chance to ask them, what would that be like for you? Oh, look at
Oh,
that smile. That probably says
that
it all.
I would just love to actually hear what Jason would say or any of them, because obviously that would really make me happy if I had the chance to send them all that picture and say,
Mm.
look, what do you think of this? I'd love to know a feedback. I would do anything, just to get a feedback, even if it was just from Jason to say like, oh my God, it's amazing, that would just make me so happy. I'll just be very happy for them to
Okay,
just
so
say,
guys from One Chicago, if you are seeing this right now, whether you are a producer or writer or you're Dick Bull himself or you're one of the actors, please let us know. Record a little video, maybe under 1 minute, but the both of us, we would really like to know. Okay,
yeah,
continue on. But do you think that it's actually just a coincidence when it comes to timing because it all came together, of course, prior to your page existing 1 year. You were bullied, you were arrested, you were spent. People were trying to get the page to go down. At some point,
yeah,
it seemed for a second they succeeded, and at that same second, I said, "No, wait, you'll get it back. Don't worry about it." Of course, you were a little less convinced, but it happened. You got it back.
yes, I
Around that
did.
same time, just prior to it, of course, Brian Lutz, he came into the picture as well,
Hmm.
sharing it all. Next, first you went down, you went from 8 to 7, then back up again, and then all of a sudden, boom, 11,000 followers plus.
Yeah.
So, um, is it the timing or is it literally, hey, Joe, this interview is going to be all about you?
Oh God, don't. Oh dear. You,
We like to have a little fun every now and then.
oh God. I don't know if it's coincidence or just potluck chance, really, that it happened to have happened all in sort of like a few months. Everything was just going from up and down and up and down. Then Brian come on scene, and then sort of things started to be a bit better. And then obviously someone did try to get me shut down, and I was closed down for a few days, but I managed to fight, and I mean fight, to get my page back, which I'm glad I did, because I would have absolutely been devastated.
I
And to
literally would have
actually,
crawled through that invisible phone line to
oh
you,
God, yeah.
and I would have smacked you on the head with that same phone. If you hadn't, I would personally have visited you in the UK.
Because I know, like, I was amount of times I said, right, that's it, I'm going to close it down. And you're going, no, you're not to do that. And I was like, no, people, no, you can't do that. You can't close it down. Don't let it, no. It was like, okay, 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 I will keep it up.
But do you
But
know, if I were to ask you now, and Mariella is having a ball, um, if I were to ask you right now, do you know why I said to you, you need to keep on going with this page? Do you know why I told you to do so in no
No,
uncertain terms?
I'm certain thing. Go on, tell me.
No, 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 no. You really don't know.
No, why?
Okay. Well, I know how important this page is for you, for your health, your mental health especially. And of course, we all know that mental health influences physical health as well.
Yeah.
You set it up because your daughter said, "Mom, start that page. Just go do something." Because you know so much, and of course, you have collected so much about the guy. And I'm still, I'm still loving the little things you're posting, and I'm like, what, all that stuff. So you're the right person for it. But for me, what was important was I noticed how in those years you started. In that 1 year, I said years, but it's just 1 year. How you changed to writing a little bit to actual things which resonated with your state of mind. And then you
Mm,
would link it to something Hank Floyd would have said. But
yeah.
everyone you would go and see your post would know in an instant this is what she's thinking. This is what's going on in her mind.
Yeah.
And so for me, I knew this was actually therapy for you.
Mm,
You loved it. It was something you're good at. You loved doing the editing. You loved to be creative. And when people are depressed and they're traumatized, both of you apply to you, um, then they need something to look forward to. And
yeah.
what's better than putting your heart and soul, pouring everything you've got into those edits, and then getting feedback back. Wow, Joe, we love it.
Yeah.
Brian, sharing it, I mean, that's the one thing that gives you a boost because then because it was basically your way of speaking up.
Yeah.
You were showing like, hey, I'm here, and maybe you come here because you're a Jason McGay fan, but I am making it possible for you to actually enjoy all these pictures. And and I think it's not just about Jason Bouquet anymore. It's literally about, okay, what kind of art project have you manufactured this time? And what kind of quote have you put in this time? So it's somewhat of the fault. Of course, there's a lot of Jason Begay fault material in there, um,
Mm.
but there is also a lot of Joe in there.
Yeah. I
It's
like to combine the two sometimes. Yeah.
yeah. So
Mm,
um, so I knew the importance for you, and once you would stop with this, you would you would go downhill because there was nothing to
mm,
look forward to anymore once this would stop. This has been your lifeline since your husband passed away,
yeah.
and this got you out of it again. So
Yeah.
that's why
Definitely.
I was pretty harsh on you and said, you need to do this.
Yeah. She
and
was.
of
She
course,
was.
and of
Yeah. She
course,
was.
I'm not the average person, so I can be pretty blunt as when needed. Um, not wanting any resistance, as in you're just going to do it. No matter what, you're going to do
You're doing it. If you
it.
don't, I'll be over there and I will beat you.
Well, I'm not Hank Voigt, so no worries about that one. Um, but yes, I would probably have called you every day again and again until you would pick it up again. And you were on the verge of giving up a few times. I think 4 or 5
Yeah.
times in the last 2 months, 3 months,
Yeah. Yeah.
because of the bullying, of course.
Mm.
Um, but somehow I do believe that because they actually took it down and then it got back up again. Oh, Anna's having a ball too. Um, that this was the confirmation you needed to keep on going. What would you say to that one? Are you now laughing because of Mariella and Anna, or what?
Yeah.
Yes, people, this is actually live.
Oh, no. I love Mariella and Anna. I love them girls.
Yeah, well, it looks like they love us too, and they are having a lot of fun. So, thumbs up, hearts, smileys. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
going back to before the 1 year anniversary interview, and now, I have seen you change actually. I've seen you change. The first time you came on, you talked primarily about Keith, your late husband, and you were in tears actually when
yeah,
when we talked about the whole speaking up.
yeah,
And I think that Jason, you pretty much started talking about Jason, maybe that first live, but at least the second live, because you're very passionate about the guy. Let's be honest, that's the way it is. Otherwise, you
yeah,
wouldn't have a fan page.
yeah.
So, how would you describe being on here, talking about your dreams, about what's going on in your life? Here we
Mm.
go with the camera again. It's literally like
Mm.
there are people have like
Mm.
this
I'll do my
handle
look.
and
Mm.
it's going over my head
Mm.
with the
Mm.
camera.
Mm.
Sometimes I think that's my mom, looking up from heaven, teasing me,
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm giving you a message. You need what you need to do. And in case you forgot it, I'm going to make sure that everybody can see what I'm thinking. Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, back to you. So, so how has that changed for you?
um.
Mariela, is that just you, my mom, knocking on the door?
Yeah,
What
I
is
hear things as well with Keith. I know he's around because certain things are move or drop, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I know you're there, darling.
Well, we know it's something that Apple has included, but I'm not
Yeah.
entirely happy with it. Okay, but back to the question. I remember the first time you were on here,
Yeah,
and
I was in bits.
the difference
Mm.
with with last time and this time, it's major. Oh, they do.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're looking down on us. That's what Mariella
Mm.
says.
I think obviously you having me to speak up and speak out on your shows from the very first one I ever did. Obviously, yes, I was very emotional because it was still so raw about my husband. I couldn't talk about him without crying. Sometimes I still do now, but a lot of times I'm learning to not let myself get that emotional state now. I've learned to be able to talk about him without crying now. Uh, doing the lives with you and talking about like all his disabilities that he had, and other things, and obviously the COVID, and then my mum, losing my mum, and everything. I think it's helped so immensely that it's made me able to cope more when I can talk about them now. Whereas before I couldn't, I would never been able to. If I hadn't have done these lives with you, I probably still would not be able to talk about him. I would start welling up, crying, you know, and things like that, and all my other traumas, which I never opened up to people. that even most of my family never knew about. And I told you because I knew, because I learned to trust you, and I knew I could tell you. So it all came out from everything from when I was my childhood from 3 up to when Keith died and my mum. So it's really helped, and it does help. People need to realise that a lot of people think, oh yeah, but talking to somebody, what's that going to do? Blah blah blah. I tell you, they need to realise that it can help, and it does help immensely, especially in your brain, your mental. To like, as I said, as you said, when the first time I just used to cry, always crying. I couldn't, and it teaches you to be able to speak out and learn to not get so upset. And as you're talking about them, thinking happy things, like you did to me on the anniversary. I was upset, and then we started talking about, oh, what did you do? What did things, and like looking through photos and things like that. And then it sort of cheered me up, and then I started thinking happy again. And it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
things like that that it does help immensely, and it really does, because it was hard, because on Sunday it was 18 years we would have been married, and it was really hard. And I was sitting here and I was like, oh my god, I was reminiscing over the wedding, and I was looking at photos. I was getting upset and sad, but then you spoke to me, and then we started just laughing about funny things and going over things and the wedding, and and things like that. And it just totally lifted me up straight away. I was like, whoa, and
good.
after that I actually slept and felt so much better.
Yeah. So I'm going to share
Mm.
a little secret on here for viewers. Um, you don't know this, but whenever I
Right.
talk to Joe and we are on the phone, she actually gets really quiet because she falls asleep because of my
It does. It does. And sometimes I sit there. Oh, you're still on the phone. You sent me to sleep. Yes,
voice.
you do. When you talk to me, I'll sit there and I'm like, oh God, I just want to sleep now. Oh,
Yeah. Well,
you
actually,
sent
one of
me
the
to.
first things I did for you was I recorded a meditation with binaural
Yeah,
beats on there. And
yeah.
I think you listened for a short while and then you dismissed it like this is not working. But the funny thing is, you don't need to listen to that. You just need to hear my voice. And then it's,
Yeah, exactly. I'm surprised I ain't asleep there.
yeah, exactly. Oh,
Yeah, it
Mariella
does.
is having a blast. And she says, we love you. Mariella, you do sometimes use code words I do not know.
Oh,
Uh,
let me have a look.
yeah,
Oh my God, what is all this? Oh,
yeah, that's
hands
Mariella. I think we need
high.
to invite her in a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So yeah. So but she's also writing a book, and I believe
Oh
she wants to
wow.
contribute it to us as well, or at least
Oh, that'd
mention
be
us in the
cool.
book. So that's good.
Ah, that's brilliant. Oh, that'd
So,
be nice.
Mariella, if you want to come on for a while, a little while, in a little bit,
Yeah.
just let me know. I'll send you the invite link. Oh, yeah, the problem, Anna. Oh, that's not good. Well, the good thing is, it is being recorded. So, um, we talked about um, the difference between the first time Joe was here live and now, and the change that we actually can see in Joe. And of course, sometimes she just comes on the live just to help me out, and she's actually pretty tired. But and of course, there's a difference between the role you play. I totally get it, especially when it comes to speaking up. But I have to say, I love it when you're there and when you want to join me. And I
Thank you.
think we found my topic is about speaking up. And of course, we found Jason Begay, the both of us. And for me, what was so important was I wanted to know when I I was searching for those interviews. I was like, okay, so is this guy the same in real life, like he's on the screen? So who is he? And then, of course, he started talking about the different perspectives and how a bad guy actually wasn't that bad, but was a good guy, but did the wrong things for the right reasons, which triggered me to listen to more interviews. And then, he obviously is a very funny guy. He has a lot of humor. He thinks about the things he wants to say. So all those things combined, and during the whole when COVID had just started and they were at home, he had done a lot of short videos.
Mm.
That's how I got to see the word inclusion, and I was like, what's inclusion? What's inclusion? Oh, but I know inclusion. And basically that's what I'm doing. I get people to speak up, share their voice, so they can be heard, seen, and understood, instead of being on the outskirts of society and not
Mm.
being able to participate in there. So I guess that together we found a way to share our message.
Mm. Yeah.
What do you think when I just put it like that?
I think it's good though. It's true though, because obviously when you did that interview about inclusion, a lot of people don't realise what that word means. Obviously you didn't. You had to look it up what the word inclusion means and that, and that's what I love about him when he interviews. He's very brainy, very clever, and he knows how to put the words together and make, you know, his interviews that's why his interviews are so amazing, because he's just such a very well outspoken man.
Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah, that's true. And of course, I don't want all these lives to be about Jason. I do want them to be
No,
about speaking up. And of course, you are more than just one huge Jason Begay fan, and that's what I love about you, and that's why I also did the interview with you, because I want people to know how much you've grown, but also the edits you're making, the creativity, the hours you put in there. You deserve that recognition. I mean,
thank
the
you.
11K followers, they come from somewhere. And it's not
Yeah.
just because you happen to write about Jason. So Mariela just joined, so I'm going to
Yay.
add her to the stream.
How you guys doing?
Hello! We are
Hello,
doing good.
Mariella.
How
So
you guys
what
doing?
Hiya.
yeah, we
How are
are
you,
doing good,
Joe?
but how about you?
Hello.
I'm up here. I'm listening. Beautiful life. Beautiful life. I'm so happy that Joe got a chance to talk. And it was
Thank
wonderful
you.
to hear her talking. And and yeah, I would love to definitely have her contribute before we start talking to the book and you two lady, because honestly with you the
Oh,
book
thank
is
you.
about grieving,
Yeah.
and we had a lot of people that lost during the COVID epidemic. Is the main thing. So I'll be honored if you can write down whatever you like, any pictures or whatever little collage you like to do. That's your page, and you can contribute. And that every time you open the book, it'll be right there for you. And that's basically what my book is about. But besides
Oh,
that,
that's
it's
lovely.
wonderful to see you alive. Go ahead, lady.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
thank you. You're so lovely. You're so
Okay,
sweet.
Keep going.
yeah, it's sweet. Well, the first thing that comes to mind, I don't know about you, Joe, was actually when you lost your mom.
Mm.
And of course, it hit me right. Because a year and a month prior to you losing your mom,
Hiya.
I'd lost
It's your
mine.
mum.
So
Yeah.
everything, it just came back to the surface again.
So
I
it
was like,
brought memories back for you, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because it was hard. Yeah,
yeah,
it was
it
really
it
awful.
it made me deal with it all
Mm.
over again. And of course, I never really had been able to process it, but this
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
worked really nicely. So how about you, Joe? What is it for you when it comes to grief?
Grief. Oh God. Um. it is like obviously yesterday I lost a close family friend to COVID again, unfortunately, and it's still happening.
Yeah.
COVID, um, and that brought back memories yesterday from losing hubby to COVID
Mm.
because our friend was he was 57
Oh,
and he was in hospital 3 days ago and he died yesterday from COVID. And people are still saying, oh, it doesn't exist. It's not out there. What's the matter with you? It's still not going on. And it is still going on. It's still rife. It's absolutely rife still. People are just not acknowledging it, and they should because it's, and grieving is just like, it's such a long progress. But Lexi has helped me deal with a lot of my grief. And like, obviously, with the grief of my husband, as I said, because I've never been able to smile, I always used to cry constantly so quick. And then obviously with my mum, and we were sort of like grieving together at that time because it brought all the memories back for you. And it was like, and then we started talking about what our mums liked and sharing photos of our mums. And it was just nice to do because it's like you're grieving together and it's nice to share those thoughts about our mums and things like that. And it's just nice to have that, being able to talk about the grief, you
yeah.
know, really does
So
help.
how about you, Mariella? I mean, what
Um.
what made you write a book about grief, and what's your main story?
Well. Yes, it's basically about grieving. A grieving is a process. Grieving is a destructive process. Is ongoing. Is a mental. It can be very seclusive. It can be very depressive. It can be to the point where you just don't want to do nothing. You are not able to cope. And I think the main reason I want to do this book because I all I heard throughout this whole entire grieving process is like get over it. Like it's
Oh,
just because you haven't seen them that much. I'm like, you don't understand. It does not
mhm.
matter. Me personally, if you know it's a friendship or somebody that I actually adore and we got history, so basically my grieving is gonna be a book of the person's is basically part of my lives and throughout the years. And even though we didn't, it's like a friendship, you see it. Like I'll be like, example, I'm not trying to say nothing, but example, I'm like, hey lady, and then tomorrow be like, oh no, you know what I mean? That to me, or like, I'm just saying, like that lady Joe, that to me, it will be like, it will be a grief. It wouldn't be like something like, oh, well, you know what I mean? It will be something meaningful because you know what? At the end of the day, it has some background on which Joe you were
Yeah,
saying. Honestly, with you, and it's so true because during the process of the grieving, the first person that I actually had the chance to tell we were talking about the mental health and depression, so that was the first time I actually like spoke about it because all we know us people telling us that we crazy, we stupid, um
yeah,
get
yeah,
off your
yeah. Get
get
over it,
over
move
it,
on.
and they
Yeah,
don't understand how much that
no,
does to
they
your
don't. They
brain.
don't. Yeah,
It's like, and then you trying to get out of trying to get out of it, but it's something that holds you. It holds you. Not only that, you, especially if you cannot, during COVID, you had to be seclusive. So there was basically,
mhm,
you were grieving on your own. So whether if
yeah,
you were intoxicating yourself, whether you were listening to music, whether you were crying, whether you were trying to commit suicide, whether you, like, people wouldn't understand it. Like, you keep repeating the same thing and they just don't get it. You know why they don't get it? Is
mhm.
because you know what? They don't know how it feels
How it
until they
feels to grief.
actually
Yeah,
goes through it. So yes, so
yeah,
that's what the
yeah.
book is going about. I actually, the funny thing is, the book is started like, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna write this book and I'm gonna tell everything and blah 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 blah. But then during the grief, I personally send out to anybody, like a lot of the movie makers, and anybody that wants to is welcome, because at the end of the day, me personally, this book is about grieving. There's a lot of people throughout, grieving in general, and my grieving itself, it comes from like, from the, my mom, my grandma. Like, I don't want to say that much because I wanted it to be, it will be read it, but this book is dedicated to anybody that ever lost somebody, anybody that ever been abandoned, anybody that ever felt alone, anybody that thought that they wanted to commit suicide. Because you know what, grieving process, that's what basically comes with. So yes, so I will be honored for both of you to be on it. So, and I can't
Oh,
wait.
thank you so much.
But that's what is the book is gonna
That's
be about.
awesome.
I thought it was
Yeah.
gonna be all about me, but you know what? When she did the channeling, I couldn't stop grieving. Because you know what? When you love somebody, or when it's you go and you read a book, you might probably end up crying too, because there's so much. It's like they don't understand. There is a lot of type of grieving that you can do mental. A lot of situations on where they don't understand, like having a child with special needs and not being able to have the proper care for your child. Uh, like, like in my case, like the government. Right now, like I'm so frustrated because listen, I just found out that I was waiting for this money, fighting for this money, and I just found out the bank closed my account for my daughter on March, and it's August. So imagine how the grieving that I'm dealing with. So you know how frustrated it is to be able to try to take care of somebody, and you cannot even take care of your own self. And then I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And so every day is a grieving. Every day is like, if you see me like going at it, it's because you know what? Yes, I want to do this book because I want people to understand that uh, it hurts. It hurts when you're not hurt. It hurts when you are misrepresented, and all they can say is like, get over it. What a lawyer is gonna do. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like little hints of like drinking is not gonna solve your problems. Like, you know what I mean? It's just
No,
like you
facts.
don't understand what you guys are doing. It's just mentally draining. Like me keeping me in the same room with my child, and me like not having be able to keep my products. I'm right now here. My daughter is right now. I'm not even moving because I know she's in the bathroom with my makeup, throwing everything everywhere. So it's grieving is it goes like that. Like it's like not being able
Mm.
to have the support after years of waiting for me to change my household. I just personally think like the government send out money and then people misuse it, and then there are people that commit suicides over there because they're not being heard. So yeah, so my book is
Yeah.
gonna be big.
So this is not
Oh,
just simply about grief
No,
for losing loved
no, no.
ones. This is
There she goes
about
with the
not
makeup.
being heard as well,
Yes,
and
yes,
and
it's
grieving for not being
misunderstood.
understood.
Yeah, and feel like you're crazy. Like everybody think you're crazy. Like even my family is like, how long are you gonna just continuing to do your momentum or like the computer? I'm like, what are you doing? I'm working. What are you working on?
Yeah.
Jesus.
But if you
And it's
know,
just
it's
like
it's it's starting somewhere and then continuing
everything.
on, which is
Yeah,
getting you somewhere, and that's what's so important. And
yeah.
that's why I love the comparison with Joe and her
Hmm.
page, because she started somewhere. And then down the
Yeah.
line in that year, she completely started to change it to, the edits became better and better. She bought all these apps, and then she started
Hmm.
experimenting. And then of course, then there were the things she listed next to it, and from saying a simple thing to expressing how she felt, she made it into voice quotes, which is of
Can
course the
you
character from James McGay.
not put a website? Because I don't know if I'm following you with Joe on Instagram. I'm not quite sure.
Okay, I'll have to send you it.
Yeah,
I'll get Lexi to send you it.
because every time Lexi's tell you how beautiful this page is, and I would love to experience that too. So
I'll send it to you in a heartbeat. I'll send it to
Okay.
you in a
talks
heartbeat.
about
Thank
spreading.
Um,
you.
So I wanna
I
like look at it.
Yeah, it's
No.
really, you're going to love it. It's
Oh, I
just so
hope
much
so.
fun. And it's true what you say. People don't know what it's like to grieve if you haven't experienced it, and
No,
grieving
that's
can be
right.
about people. And I remember that when my husband lost
Dame un second, porque.
his father,
Mm-hmm.
I still had both my parents, and it was like, yeah, I want to
Awful,
help you,
right?
but I don't know how to help you because I haven't experienced it. I have no
Mm-hmm.
clue what it feels like. I literally said it to him. Then
Oh,
5 years later, I
oh
lost my
my.
father. So
Mm.
then I knew, and then another 9 years later, I lost my mom. So his mom
Oh
is still
man.
alive. But
Oh,
both my parents
let
are
me get you
gone, and I
this.
have to say, it's it's a really awkward feeling to be. And of course, I don't have any children, so
You
that's the big
don't,
difference.
lady?
No, I don't. No.
Oh.
So, and that's the big difference between my brother and sister, because my sister has one and my brother has three. So they have their own families, which I don't. So sometimes I feel like I'm completely alone on this world, you know. But then again, I also know the worth of friends. And, even though the both of you are on opposite sides of the world,
Mm.
Mm-hmm. We experience the same thing.
Yeah.
we are
Sorry,
talking to one
Joe.
another. We were having fun. We are laughing.
Spiritually,
And
we
Yeah,
connected.
exactly. We're spiritually connected. Woo!
Yes, it's right
yeah,
through
but
the
it's
internet.
Yeah,
yeah, but
it is.
don't you
Yeah.
just love it? We can have fun with
Yeah.
one another. We can laugh, we can cry, we can talk,
Yeah,
we can wonder about things, we can ask one another questions, and we actually have a peek in one another's life.
yeah.
So,
Buena,
and
Yana. Sorry,
I
my
don't
older
know.
one.
No, it's okay. It's okay. But that's something. A lot of people are like, yeah, I'm on my own, and I'm like, well, I don't feel alone. I'm totally connected with the world, and that makes all the difference. So I think it's about letting out the
Make her a
emotions,
nego.
being able to
Go, go,
actually
go,
vent
sissy.
it.
Sissy, go. Sorry.
Yeah, do I need to mute you? No, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. I forgot about that. Let me mute myself. I'm sorry, lady.
Okay. You just unmute yourself later on. But yeah, I think that's one of those important things, that we can actually talk to one another, reach out to one another, whether it's in times of grief or in times of laughter about the camera, which is doing something else than what I wanted to do. So, um,
Ooh.
yeah, exactly. You shouldn't have talked about grief. But I guess all this is related to speaking up and speaking out and being there for one another. And basically,
Mm.
that's all I've done. All I've done is provide a platform, ask people questions, whether it's you, Joe, or you, Mariela. And I love knowing what's going on in the lives of you, and also getting you to tell about what's important to you. So, Mariela, just put it back on again.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I was speaking without it. But lady, it was kind of nice to actually also listen to your part in which you were able to
Mm.
express yourself, which you said you miss that your dad that passed away, and also your mom, which you miss your mom. And that can be a little contribute in the book, you know what I'm saying? Like a little, I don't care, whatever you guys would want. It'd be like, because when I'm opening, it'd be so pretty. Just a quickly, just remember 8 o'clock we have the other one. 8 o'clock with Sin.
Oh, that's already been today.
Yes,
It was
today.
earlier today.
Already? I thought
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
supposed to
yeah. It
be
was
8
8
o'clock
o'clock my
p.m.
time. No, that was my time.
Oh, Jesus, I'm confused. So it was
It was
5.
2 p.m. Eastern time.
Uh, but we were doing no, no, no. There's another one today at 8 with Sin.
Are you
Yeah.
sure?
Yes, but I'll be
Because
quiet. I think, or maybe I don't know. You're probably right, but it's something at 8 o'clock. So,
okay.
I'm just
Well,
I'll be leaving in 5 minutes. Okay, ladies, just
yeah,
to
I'm going to
get this
wrap it up
situated,
Yeah,
anyway.
me too.
I'm going
Yeah,
to wrap it
please.
up
I'm
anyway.
getting
Yeah.
tired.
Um,
Yeah.
so what I wanted to say is this: this was about the question:
Una
do we
buggy.
need to be celebrity in order to be able to speak up and be heard?
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that by the questions I actually asked you, Joe, that you hopefully debunked that myth. Although, what it turns out that you being put in the spotlight and this being all about you did make the difference. So,
Yes. Good.
anything you want to add to that, because we actually explored it a little bit? What would you say?
I'd just say, like, if you got the chance to speak to somebody about your dreams or something that you're
Mm,
achieving at the moment, and if you can do it, because you'll be surprised of the results that you will get.
it's
As
true.
I never felt so happy like I did the other day. It was just amazing. That interview was just like, oh my God, I literally felt so famous. I felt like a celebrity. I was like,
What interview was this, Joe?
it's on my 1 year anniversary
Oh,
um,
beautiful.
of my page, and
Oh, nice.
why I did it, and in memory of my husband and things like
Wonderful.
that. And it was just such a great interview. She was interviewing me like I was a celebrity, and I felt so good.
You
I felt like
are.
I was a queen.
You are over it.
I
You
felt like
are.
a celebrity, and it just is amazing feeling. So if you get that chance,
Hmm.
just do it. Go for it, because you will love the outcome at the end of it. So yeah,
Oh, she
just
knows.
go for
She
it.
knows. But we
Yeah,
can do it about the book. No worries. About you,
yeah,
of course. We can do another
yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yes. Well, it's. I have to say it's really interesting because for me it didn't feel like I did anything else, but I do realize that this was all about you, not
yeah,
about the topic itself, but it was all about you and what you had achieved. And I can
yeah,
imagine that that really felt really wonderful. So,
yeah.
so what's your dream now?
My dream now is to get a franchise in the artwork.
Ooh.
Oh,
Oh, I
that would
can't
be
wait to
cool.
see your artwork.
In
Because
the
I'm
edits
definitely
and
gonna buy some as soon as
and
I get a little money. I gotta make sure. Now that you said that, I gotta make sure I got a piece of you in the household. Nice. I love art. I love art. Oh, love.
What's your dream, Mariella?
Uh, my dream will be just to get back on track. You know what I mean? Like I want to. My dream is to finish the book. That's the must. That be a present for myself. Next FYI, next week is my birthday, so we have to make sure.
Ooh!
On the
Oh,
20th,
we
August
we're gonna
20th.
have to come on. We're gonna have to come on alive and do a birthday
Yes,
celebration.
yes.
Which
Just
day
a
is
little
it?
whoop whoop. 8:20. So it's a Saturday though. But anyway, so my dream will be for the book to be a to help everybody
Success.
that
Yeah.
yes it can be
Yeah.
any tips, any guides, anything that you guys want to put. I send out to it, the ones, whatever, but I send out to the information, because at the end of the day I can speak for so long and have so much knowledge. I think people will benefit from others people experience, because you know what, they can cope it to their way. And not only that, if I am talking about grieving and stuff like that, I wouldn't be talking about the book if it wasn't for you guys. So you guys gotta be in it. So
Ah,
Yeah.
cute.
that's it.
Well, I've got a tattoo of a toy store, of a toy train,
Hmm.
with a rose on it and a
Hmm.
Yeah.
paw
Whatever
print.
you want to do. It's all on you, lady.
So
Okay.
there's a whole story behind that one picture. So that's
That's
going to work
awesome.
out.
Yeah,
Well,
whatever you
during
like.
the challenge earlier today from the Evan Carmichael, which you were referring to, he
Mhm.
actually talked about getting in the flow, and he talked about our dreams. So he had one
Mhm.
assignment for all of us, which was okay, record a little video about your dream and what it is, and what you're passionate about. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And
Mhm.
please don't overthink it. So I was talking to Joe earlier, and I said, well, the one thing I do is I tend to overthink. But actually, I did tell Joe, and it's not a secret, but it's something which is way bigger, I believe, than most people are considering. So I'm just going to share it here. So my
I'm.
dream.
Mhm.
You're curious.
Go ahead.
My dream is actually related to a whole lot of places in the world. So
Oh.
I want to set up a bunch of parks. And those parks are, they contain multiple tiny houses. They contain
Oh.
studios in there. So the key thing is I want people to be able to go over there. They get coached, and then in the process, I listen, and other people will listen to the things they are saying. And I'll take pictures, create videos, alongside, of course, with the other people which are working alongside me. But we capture those special moments,
Mhm.
and then we get to work with some writers, songwriters,
Mhm.
musicians, and they are going to take the life of that person who's being coached, what it
Mhm.
was like, and then talk about their dream and what they want their life to be like, and then transform that into a song. And that song will not only be performed on stage, it will be captured by all these pictures from the past, from the present, but also from the future. What it
Beautiful.
is, maybe things they've said, or pictures that match. So it becomes a whole video, and that will be recorded, and they will participate in that video in the middle of the stage because it's their song. So basically, like how Joe was feeling when she was being interviewed, she was the center
Mhm.
of the stage. And that's what we want those people to feel like too, that they're the center of the stage and they can see what their life can be like if they want to change it. So I don't expect them all to be musicians. So the musicians will do the hard work, and they
Beautiful.
can, maybe share a little story or something. And I also wanted to include a number of houses, or tiny houses or something that's combined for children hospices.
That's
So the
great.
children, the child who's going to pass away gets the ability to also record his or her story,
Mhm.
um, for anyone who wants to hear, but also for the parents and the siblings. Siblings can have their own room, parents can have their own room, so they basically each have a tiny house,
That's
and they
beautiful,
get
lady.
the support they need in order to deal with this, because losing an adult is something entirely different compared to
Mhm.
losing someone who's at the start of their life.
Mhm.
So that's the second thing. And then the third thing in that same park is when we talk about inclusion and about those, say, in their adolescence, who are in their early 20s
Lay down.
also, who do not know how
One.
to
One.
integrate in life, that they get a chance to actually work in a way that's acceptable for all people around. And well, maybe for Mariella, her 5-year-old will be part of that too one day. So it's also for children with autism and all that stuff. So who have a
She probably will
difficulty
be there.
adjusting to normal life.
Oh, she needs to. Oh
Okay,
God.
but
It
that's
sounds
basically
beautiful.
my dream. And that's why I'm doing this, because I want people to be able to have a good life, and be have a happy life. And sometimes it's not easy, but being understood and at least have the chance to be seen, that makes all the difference.
Mm, it sounds so pretty. Um, that sounds like a good goal to do, lady. I definitely, once I have a little, I will definitely will love to create like orphanage and places where teenagers can go and find a shelter, because sometimes when you are a teenager, especially if you don't get along with your family, your
Mm.
parents, your kid, they run away, and I was one of them. So I feel like they should
Nice
have.
safe house. A nice safe house.
They
Yeah.
need that, because you know what? Once, like, what they do with children that are not tameable, because they come from back traumatic backgrounds, instead of like helping them, what I mean, they help them, but I think they should be more like somewhere they can be, they know they have somewhere to go to. You need help, okay, you know what, regroup, and let's put you back out there, because and that's what I want, because I think there will be less violence, less guns. You know what I mean? They had like a group
Yeah.
home, like I was in an orphanage, so I would love to have like a home for kids to go there. So yeah, I got a lot of things that I would love to do,
Mm.
but we'll
Yeah,
see.
maybe we can include that in the park too. I'm
Hmm.
not sure.
You
I
never
want it
know.
to be mega
You
and then
never
be
know.
copied all over the
And
world.
safe
May-
houses for women and children escaping abuse,
yeah,
Yes.
yes,
men or
that
Yes,
would
men
make.
ma'am.
escaping abuse from women.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
it
it's
would
true
be
though.
nice if inclusion could be the main word, the key word. So I already know that the first one will be dedicated to Josie because
Oh.
she actually is the one who did the artwork for me, the pinups, and she was one. When it comes to inclusion, she was one who did not feel understood, and she actually sometimes didn't understand herself even. So,
That's your
and
friend,
that's
right?
hard.
Your friend that died, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have my friend that overdosed. That's why I wanted it to be able to have somewhere where teenagers can go when they don't get along with it. Well, anyways, I'll talk about the book, and I'm trying to see how can I sugarcoat it a little bit more. Like, I'm thinking about it, because there is a lot of sensitive issues in the book, because sometimes when you speak in, you can only speak from your point of view, you can speak from their point of view. So I'm still working on it. Is you guys hopefully you guys will like it. But yeah, that's why I think there should be a lot of people in a lot of places that it can help people on that note. What you said, lady.
I think we've come up with a nice concept of
Siéntate, siéntate.
possibilities for,
Sit.
and especially because all of this is about people being able to feel safe
Mm-hmm.
in their environment, wherever they are living or working or whatever they're doing. And when they need a special place in special circumstances, to be able to provide that for people, that would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I
question
think we.
again. Do we need to be famous in order to be heard? I guess we can conclude no, we don't, but it does help.
Yeah.
Would
Mm.
you agree, Sleepy Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you need some help speaking up, just find me. There's always link where you can go to for a free course about speaking up, and of course there's this book that I've written. But you can all find that when you actually go to the free course.